What's up everyone? Welcome back to another TLDR video, and today is our first installment of how to get better at Guilty Gear. Today we'll be talking about the corner and handling jumps. Today we are joined by none other than the Lord and Savior himself, Lord Jed, RE2 speedrun enthusiast, and also the second best Axel in San Diego.
Ooh woo!
What's up, guys?
Take me there.
Yeah, take me there.
The corner is where your opponent has the least amount of options and where most of your damage comes from. We cannot stress this enough. The corner is king.
It's 90 degrees of pressure.
It indeed is.
We've seen this far too many times. You spend half the round, some of your life, some of your bars, just to get the opponent in the corner, and he just jumps out without any repercussions. Worst part of all is that a side switch occurs and now you're in the corner.
We're going to give you tips on how to get the most out of cornering your opponent. The obvious advantage is that the opponent cannot move back. What does this mean? Well, it means that you are in complete control of the spacing in between. Every step forward is pressure, and their only answer is to press a button. Depending on the spacing, you can expect which buttons the opponents will respond to, allowing you to bait them and whiff punish accordingly, or shimmy.
If your character has a move that's usually unsafe, but great when hitting with just the tip,
Just the tip?
just a tip, the corner will make it a lot easier to get the correct spacing. This technique has existed since the dawn of time. Our suggestion is to use a block string that will push you far enough to use these moves at optimal ranges.
But Genghis, how do we keep them in the corner?
How to keep them in the corner, you might ask? Alright, Genghis, I got this, alright? Well, we're gonna give you a general formula that works pretty well for most cases. You take that opponent's longest reaching button and you stand right outside that range. At this spacing, you're generally safe from anything the opponent does. Now, you just need to analyze what are his options for escaping. Those options are typically jumping out, jumping and air dashing, or trying to hit you with his longest hook, because that's all you have to worry about. It makes it that much easier to react to his actions and punish accordingly.
But Jed, what if they take a step forward and attack me?
Well, that's the difference between you and the cornered opponent. You know he has to step forward, and you can attack him as he does. You also have the option just to step back or block, because you're able to simply step back. The opponent's attacks will whiff, and you can punish. The button you're punishing with doesn't even need to have amazing range, assuming their hurtbox isn't busted. Something to keep in mind, though, is to avoid crouching if you can, as it expands your hurtbox horizontally. Of course, there will be exceptions to some of these rules, as some characters are more squirrely than others, but you just have to adjust accordingly.
Next, we'll be talking about handling jumps. Not in the traditional sense of anti-airing, but more dealing with mid-screen and full-screen jumps. When your opponent jumps, it's one of the rare times that you know exactly what they'll be in the next few moments.
Upon landing, the opponent is usually at a disadvantage due to recovery. In Guilty Gear, they could just double jump or air dash, but you can see those in anti-air.
The first option is to jump in where he lands. The opponent usually doesn't have enough time or reactions to respond, making this a free jump in for you. You can also gauge what the opponent likes to do upon landing by simply dashing in and doing nothing. If the opponent is on defense and is too scared to hit a button, you can use this second option by dashing in and throwing him. It is a little risky since this takes the most time, so use it sparingly.
The third option is to dash in and attack. For the most part, your opponent's going to be blocking this, but it's still free meter and pressure for you.
These options can be countered, but it's going to be tough because your opponent has to guess on which one you're going to do. It's a great tool to add to your neutral. Basically, anytime the opponent jumps, you're going to be closing the gap.
That's all for today's installment of how to get better at Guilty Gear. If you like what you see, like and punch that subscribe button. If you have any suggestions or questions, leave them in the comments below. Thanks, and we'll see you next video.